for our nation. And I want to be very clear that this is a political assassination. We are celebrating 250 years of the founding of this great nation. That founding document, the Declaration of Independence, that this great experiment on which we embarked together 250 years.
They're reporting that Charlie has died. That he's dead. At the age of 31. Which he would have to be if that video was real.
There's no way he survived that. The only good thing is, it had to have happened quickly.
Right.
Everybody knows, but I don't say nothing. It wasn't sound so very loud, but now I wanna try it again.
Marked for death. Marked for death, that's indeed the case. It is critical. It is DEFCON 1 through 5. It is sweltering. It is unwavering. More importantly, it's a bloody world at war. That's right. A good evening, everybody, wherever you find yourself here. This is the one, the only Dean Ryan, who is surviving the apocalypse of the last 5 years, but now the new coined political hit list, which we're going to dissect that, dice and slice it, because let me tell you right now, I'm going to make the case tonight. This is nothing to do with the domesticated political just adversaries of the day. This was a Mossad takedown, and I'm going to make the case. And here's another one, just really quick, a spoiler alert here about the untimely death of Charlie Kirk. It is a replica of what we just witnessed months ago with the assassination of Jamie White of InfoWars. And that wasn't just a random robbery, same shot in the jugular. You're going to get it here tonight. We're going to be talking about that. Yes, we are. And as I'm burning through the calories here, it is unwavering. It's nonstop. And let me tell you another thing. You could go across the country right now, and in this case, in every local city hall, I'm going to say a good at least 70%. The atmosphere is high. and I should say the tension is the helicopters everywhere, cops, on overtime right now. Something is happening, and something is happening all over the world too, because the escalation of war under the guise of the domestic political hit list is also on the upswing as well. We're going to be talking about that here tonight. So yes, we're going to get into all the latest and the just horrific assassination of Charlie Kirk. And I get choked up to think that only 31 years old. Can you believe it? Only 31 years old. And just to think it was in 2018, I met Charlie Kirk, and we spent some pretty funny, very small time together in the green room. It was quite interesting. But he was up Schitt's Creek with certain backers of Turning Point USA. Let me tell you, let me be the first to tell you that one. So we're going to be talking all about that. Plus, there's now being a case is being made. We're going to have one of our night owls join me here on the main show. Rebel Mama will be joining me as she alerted me to the fact, a new angle to this whole thing that is going to stimulate your mind as we try to find the culprit, although I can point you in the right direction. She's now getting the word that DEWs, direct energy weapons, had some kind of involvement in this, potentially. And, we know DEWs that go, beyond the big structural takedowns of 2 decades ago, or the potential, I should say. We know that they're also used in targeting individuals. And don't I know it? I feel like I'm getting zapped all the time. But when you're a power to be reckoned with, it happens. So we're going to be talking about that angle as well, which perfect timing for it all. It's going to segue into the second half of tonight. If you stick with us, we know you will. We're going to get into now, September 11th is pretty much here for half of the world, and the anniversary, the commensurary memory of it all. Well, one of the angles too, in segueing from that of the DEWs, is just that, the DEW angle as well, which we did not have enough time to get to during the debate. Not that it was modeled for a greater discussion, and not that I did a gold medalist job representing the DEW angle, which I need to work on amongst some other things in life. But yes, we're going to be talking to a gentleman who approached me in the most unusual way, and I replied in the most unusual way. Then we met in the most unusual ways. And now we're going to have him on with us here tonight. He's known as the 911 revisionist, Mr. Norman. Almost said Schwarzkopf, but it's not. Just a bad habit. He'll be joining us here tonight in the second half for a wonderful segment, and he is going to be talking to us all the way from South Africa. And we know we have a lot of South Africa viewers out there. Hello to all of you. We hope to meet you one day and play some soccer. I can't wait for that. So we have a lot to get to tonight, as you can imagine, and a very short time to get there, as I'm being swarmed by police all over the studio right now, all over the studio, because it is marked for death. As you can plainly see there, there's no ifs, ands, buts about it. Okay, so let's talk about it too. And by the way, I'm getting over just a little small time cold. So I do apologize for missing here the past 2 days. There's something happening in California. A lot of people say they're getting strep throat. I'm not saying I have that, but I was advised to drink plenty of water, which who knew Smirnoff made great water. So thank you to the Russians. I kid. Okay, so let's get started now, as we have a lot to get to. But before we do, we are broadcasting live on the incredible travel page, which I have been selected I'll tell you if I can remember towards the end of the show about the travel page on Facebook. It's truly tremendous. A great honor too. But we're on the Real Dean Ryan over there on Facebook, as well as Dean Ryan TV over there on YouTube, and the wonderful, the very frozen Rumble channel on, well, Rumble. There it is. So let's get started with some headlines from around the world and in your neck of the woods, shall we? Real deal headlines. Let's talk about it, and let's also be about it as well. Well, as we get to the center nucleus of it all, well, we know what just happened and what took place. And I don't know if I want to show the video again, but I put a special report out, a breaking news report, as I received a call from the great Seth Black, who said, Dean, you got to put this out and you got to do it now. And I said, Seth, you're absolutely correct. And I did. If you haven't seen it, well, you pretty much know about it by now, but let's get into the minutia of it all, as this is our feature head story here tonight. So, yes, it is with a heavy heart, as we all discovered this afternoon right here in the United States. Charlie Kirk, a very young influencer of the conservative during the pandemic, he really rose to fame, but really well before that too, as Charlie Kirk has represented a lot of the conservative values of old while bringing in the youth of tomorrow and today as well, I should say. Well, now he's a considered political activist, the founder of Turning Point USA, a young entrepreneur. I mean, you can't blame him for that. I met the guy, and a very tall guy, but he is now officially dead. It was caught on film like I've never seen before, but there's a lot of anomalies to this, and I'm going to point it out for you. As the Mossad, the greatest theatrical producers of the world, their words, not mine. Yeah, you better believe they had a lot to do with this, because somebody was going to turn, or was afraid to, and had no more political just points to spare anymore. I'm jumping ahead and I can't help myself. Well, now a suspect remains at large after the conservative political activist Charlie Kirk was killed after being shot during a speaking appearance at Utah Valley University in Orem. Yeah, right by the jugular, just like Jamie White. Interesting how that is, you know, and watch who benefits from this. Well, Donald Trump put a post out on Truth Social earlier today, where he made the announcement that Charlie Kirk was dead to the country. In addition to that, FBI Director Kash Patel said a suspect was in custody just before 4:30 p.m. in the afternoon, but no identification was given. However, 90 minutes later, he shared that the person had been released following interrogation, and no suspect is currently in custody. Now, the school officials said one shot was fired from the top of the Luce Center over there on the campus, which approximately is 200 yards where Kirk was speaking. And quite frankly, it was a bullseye. In fact, here it is. Here's what I'm talking about. Well, look at this map right there. Well, does that seem like 200 yards to you? I can't do the math too well. Could be, couldn't be. Seems like a sniper to me. Not the Tim Waltz, Larry David lookalike, who you'll see here in a second, that they apprehended immediately. Just incredible. Continuing now as we forge ahead now, they're saying the shooting occurred about 20 minutes into Kirk's speech, which he was speaking about mass shooters. The irony. Well, his slogan was the American comeback. Now, the video of the incident shows Kirk being shot in the chest or neck area before he falls to his left. The crowd of a few thousand had gathered immediately and began to scatter amongst the rest. And dare I show it, but then again, we have to have a proper timeline for the archives here, as everything now is going to be in a glass bottle for the future. Here it is. Here is the real message in the bottle here, as I'm going to show you now another angle.
Yes, no, fair to say? All right, great. So, do you know how many transgender Americans have been mass shooters over the last 10 years?
Too many.
Okay. give you some credit. Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Great.
Get down. What the fuck?
Did everybody see that? We had to show it. We had to show it. Now, notice the timing of that. Round the mass shooting. This was very premeditated. And here's another angle to it all. Look at the following now of bunch of shooters, a different shooter, 1, 2, 3 people running away. And they're going to try to blame the Democrats maybe. And there's a lot to blame with the Democrats. But when I get to the conclusion here of my thesis, you'll totally understand. But look at this right here. Here's some other things. So we saw the melee. This is what happened. Yeah, we saw the melee. Now, here are the other signs and things on the scene that we didn't see before. Check this out.
Witnesses, which if you're going to make up the resurrection, you will be using female witnesses, even external biblical evidence, such as Josephus, the Talmud even acknowledged.
Right up.
Yeah. You think he'd already be in place?
You would think that. So there's somebody on the roof right there? Just saying.
Huh.
He just ran from over, where's my finger? Well, from over there, ran in. And now he's right there. Just saying.
That's the right to remain silent.
Oh, but it was Grandpa Munster there who they picked up. That was I'm sure that was the guy who did it, right? What's his name? Not Cash Patel. Yes, that's exactly who it was. Continuing now. Now, here's something of another anomaly of some hand signals that usually you only see in Major League Baseball, but this case, well, the Mossad wants to play too. Here, have a look at this. Moments before. Look at that. Look at that.
Over the last 10 years.
Or the
Counting or
curveball.
not counting gang violence? Counting or not counting gang violence?
Great.
Unless that he was saying to the guy, steal the third base. No, that meant kill, kill, kill. You better believe it. That kill list is real. Now, it's reportedly said that Charlie Kirk feared for speaking out against Israel. Now, you're going to hear the case being made. It was the leftists. It was Trans-Tifa, which is code for the pansies of the FBI. You're going to hear that case being made. But let's get down to the brass tacks of it all, because the fact of the matter is Charlie Kirk's political capital of influence in the modern day, present day, was fledgling at best. It had been totally demolished, his entire brand for Turning Point USA, and it was going down in the stocks like no one's business. So why would it benefit anyone from the left to further take him out when he had no political capital to spend? Unless he turned it around and told the truth and turned on somebody. Who am I talking about? I wonder. Well, let's hear from Charlie himself not that long ago, as he was telling us truly who Epstein honestly was.
Lies that Epstein, with his little friend Ghislaine and Ghislaine's father, Robert Maxwell, who was obviously a spy of the Israeli intelligence agencies, that there was something else going on here. Epstein was not some sort of whiz kid hedge fund manager. Epstein was playing a part. Epstein was a LARPer. Epstein was cast for a specific role, and he played it really well. The sweatpants and the Harvard jacket, the kind of disheveled hair, looking as if he was so smart and above the clouds that he was doing advanced mathematic equations on the back of napkins. But if you actually go into some of the videos of people that met with Epstein at the time, they said he was awfully unimpressive when it came to finance and markets and economics. And it's nothing new that if you're in the intel agencies, you want to try and get as much blackmail on powerful people as possible. Easy, not hard. And this is no longer just speculation. First of all, the evidence that shows that Epstein was a creation of either Mossad, Israeli intelligence, American intelligence, Saudi intelligence, or maybe he was just a hired gun. Maybe he was just the guy that countries would go to and park a couple $100 million and say, hey, can you get one of the members of the royal family with a 13-year-old so we can get them to do what we want to do? Members of Congress are actively being blackmailed. The Epstein playbook is being used on a daily basis. Jeffrey Epstein was not a financier. He was not a hedge fund manager. Jeffrey Epstein was a key player in a multi-decade blackmail operation.
Do you hear how he was talking there? Now, shortly thereafter, Charlie Kirk, to much of my recollection, after he started speaking that way about Epstein at the pinnacle and the height of that conversation that Americans weren't having, or were having rather, not that long ago, his tune changed, if you recall, where he said, I'm so done with it. I'm so bored with the story. Let's just move on. And that's where he tanked. And then you have to ask yourself, well, why would anybody who is, quote, the leftist, as that sheriff who was, I don't know what he was doing, giving us a constitutional like history lesson in the wake of a eulogy. So, yeah, I mean, it makes no sense why anyone would do that and why anyone would say, well, Iran did it because, you know, they're scared of Charlie Kirk. So therefore, that only leaves one kind of group that comes to mind. And if you think it can't be that particular group, the creepy country in the Middle East, well, I have to remind you that the CCP routinely take out any dissidents who leave their country in exile for other countries and begin spouting off against them. They send their CCP agents to whack them out as well. Now, Charlie Kirk, despite the differences, he's not stupid. He was one of the first to say that October 7th, he couldn't even fathom how there was no security apparatus that stopped the Hamas hang gliders from coming into that little part of the region there. And he got hit hard for that. He's not stupid, but he got really into a heavy-handed deal with that part of the mafia, like we saw in Godfather 2, the Jewish mafia, who, they were telling us we're bringing in things that the Corleones didn't like. Well, he got heavily involved with a bad crowd that when you go against them in every little which way, not only are they going to gaslight you as he was been getting attacked, but they're going to kill you. They're going to kill you. And so we can imagine what the executive branch and certain powers in positions of government, what that is surrounded by, what that environment is like. Yeah, it's a deadly game. A deadly game. Okay, I want to bring in one of our Real Deal members here, our Night Owls. And I think I showed you everything here, but I want to talk, we're going to talk about another angle to this because there are some other rather wild anomalies to this, from, how it looked like it was point blank, but now we're finding out that it was on a, not a water tower this time, but yeah. So weird anomalies like that. Let's welcome to the stage here, Rebel Mama, who is one of our longtime viewers who noticed some things, and haven't we all? Thank you, Marnie, for being here. Wonderful to see you. What is it exactly? Well, first of all, I should say that you're one of the handful of people that alerted me to this. Just how shocking was this to discover earlier today?
Shocking is a good word. Yeah, it hit me like a ton of bricks, and I think it took a couple of hours to realize why. I was born in '65, so I was too young for Martin Luther King. I was too young for the Kennedys. The closest I had to anything like this would be Princess Di, and she really didn't have an effect on people the way Charlie did. So this is kind of the MLK of our generation. And
I couldn't believe he was only 31 years old. That's what's
I
shocking
know.
to me. I thought you know, for 31 years old. So when I met him, it was 2018. So that was, 7 years ago. So he was only 23 or 24 years old. And that's shocking when I discovered how young this guy was. You would have never guessed.
That's right. He lived a lifetime very quickly.
Yes, he did. Okay, so let's talk about some things here. This was sent. What is this? Let's get to the bottom of this. What did you notice here?
Well, this is actually Michael Jaco, and he was a trainer and a member of SEAL Team 6. So he's a weapons expert. He dissected this. If you can, are you at the 1630 mark?
I am not, but I can get there. Why don't you tell us about it, and I'll retrieve that for it.
Well, this is now the debate channel, right? So, I mean, your theory is very convincing, but when you see what happens, not only is there a red dot that resembles a laser that hits his chest well before you hear the shot ring out or him react, but his t-shirt literally blows up like it's inflating. And after you can see the dot becomes larger, it looks like a bullet hole. And then it travels across his neck. He reacts wrongly. He leans into the shot instead of away from it, which is the natural reaction. The blood starts flying everywhere. But where that supposed bullet hole was on his t-shirt is no longer there. It's gone. If you run it, it's only about a minute, and he'll show it.
I have it right here. So this is Michael Draco. Let's
Michael Jaco.
Excuse me. Okay, let's check this out. And you be the judge. We'll discuss after. Here it is.
All right. So this is another view.
Okay, guys, explain to me how, somebody tell me how there's okay, this is before the shot. Do you see that little red spot above his freedom?
So freedom, right above the F. There's the spot.
To the left. His right shoulder, right below, right above his right pectoral muscle. Watch that speck turn into a bullet hole.
All right, so there it is. So the shirt's blowing up. Now this is looking like a bullet hole, that speck, and now it's going to travel over to his neck.
But it moves across his shirt without leaving any trace that it was there, and then pops up onto his neck. Tell me how that's possible. You see it pop up onto his neck? Watch. It's over here. It's over here on his shoulder. Then it goes up. His shirt pops way up, because I think there's a blood bag in there or something. But look at that, how it pops over. Now, where's the hole? Where's the damage to the shirt, if that's where the entry was? This is off. This is off, guys. This is not correct. Okay, guys.
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna end
Okay,
it there.
I have another thought, Dean.
Okay,
Okay.
go ahead.
What Michael was getting to was that it was staged, it was a false flag, there was a blood bag.
Sure.
I'm not agreeing it now, but I would like to hear from somebody who's an expert on DEWs. Because to me, it looks like the guy was setting his sight with the laser. He hit too far to Charlie's right, moved it to the neck, and boom.
So it could be a futuristic weapon of sorts that
That causes his shirt
assassins.
to blow up. Could be that laser has enough energy that it actually made his shirt react. They had it in the wrong spot. He moves it over to his target and goes bang.
Now, I hate to be, Monday morning quarterback here, but
hey, that's what we're here for.
Could it very well be, it just to ponder here. We know in Israel that dissidents in the most miracle jabbed country in the world start blowing up within. I have the video of it, and I'll post that, where a man's eyeballs exploded when he was protesting the Netanyahu government. Could it be some connection to the miracle jab? And right on the heels, as California is getting ready to play the COVID 1984 second coming once again. I mean, it's not crazy to think, is it?
It's not. I'm sure Charlie didn't take it, but we've all been poisoned in other ways. They get it through us, through the food, the water, and the air. So I'm sure, unless he was pumping something to keep his body clean, he would have been susceptible to it for sure. But this is a question for Anna Toledo or somebody else who is a DEW expert and knows whether it affects clothing, whether it affects anything else. I mean, who knows? He could have been saved by a blue shirt, for all we know.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, okay, but now let's just hypothesize for a bit here as why he would fake it, and why that guy thinks it's a blood bag. The only reasonable kind of plot I could think of that he would go along with something like that, if he was getting ready and has already turned on the Zionist handlers and provided all the information to certain people. I mean, that's a long shot, but and here's what I'm talking about, everybody. Who remembers this? I've showed this over the years. This is what happens in Israel when you don't behave according to the Netanyahu Bible. You see that, everybody? You see that, everybody? Smoking out of the eyes, and here, that's something similar there that could be possible there. So,
yeah, it's possible.
We have to.
I mean, there's so many people that have faked their deaths for one reason or another. We know that they're about to disclose a lot of that.
Yeah, they are. They are definitely about.
They could well have gotten them out of harm's way, but there's another angle too that I'm not thrilled with, and that is, that they needed to rile up the youth because something is about to go down, and they need the younger generation to be riled up and ready to go for tomorrow, because tomorrow's the 11th.
Very good. So it could be a direct energy type of a weapon, which is a great segue into our upcoming segment here. But in closing, the tension is high. They want to say this is a politically motivated, hit. I don't know how many people are buying anything anymore. I think not only was his political capital has spent, I think people's political, cares are also spent. What comes out of the FBI, what comes out of a lot of government in mainstream, is what kind of effect do you think, this is going to have? Because I see a ripple effect of people probably not wanting to go to any political oriented kind of events or outings for quite some time. I see that as the case now.
I don't think that's going to happen. This was very targeted. Nobody in the crowd was at risk that we can see. It's not like they sprayed the crowd. That would have scared people away. this has riled them in the other direction. And if you look at what the loony lefty media are doing, they are trying to create anger any way they can. And if you look at what Fox is doing, the personalities that have been on there since it happened have been in tears. They have been yelling at the camera. Gutfeld dropped the F-bomb in the middle of the 5 and canceled Gutfeld for tonight.
Wow, yeah.
They are as angry as I've ever seen. Levin came on and did a eulogy you wouldn't have believed. So the Jewish side is definitely standing up for what Charlie did. So they're making a complete martyr out of him. Not that that's not justified. I'm not saying that. But they are definitely playing the political cards.
You saw what was said, what he was saying about Epstein. As soon as he said that, he got belted and has never been the same since, and looked like he was at death's door for any little wrong thing. In fact, if you saw the last Turning Point, the Turning Point event over there in Orlando, I believe, or somewhere in Florida, it was the big one where he had Dave Smith, I think his name is, debate some, rando Zionist conservative guy. He was sweating really bad, and he was nervous. You could tell he was fidgety. He was nervous because everybody knows who knows. They know what is at stake when you mess around with these people, and it just hurts my heart because to think that look at these, the hand signals, for instance. Something's going on here when you have this going on.
Over the last
just like the Trump shooting and assassination attempt almost a year ago today. But
even the guy on the roof video, I mean, come on, it's carbon copy of what went on in Butler.
Yeah, it is carbon copy, definitely what went on in Butler. But
if you look at the angles, he was under a tent. He was below the crowd. Most of them were above him. They're saying it was a roof.
Oh, yeah.
When you look at that tape, wouldn't the bullet have to travel through that tent to hit him in the neck from the angle? That tent doesn't move. A laser would go right through it.
Well, you would
and
think
leave
so.
no
You would think so.
indication it was ever there. But a bullet would leave a hole.
Not only that, Marnie, is we have witnesses now, and I'm going to show you some witnesses here before we go to break here, and we bring our guest here. But we have people that said that went against the narrative, and Fox News. Speaking of Fox News, the home of Mark Levin, I guess we could call it. They were not happy about it, were they? And you sent me the following clip, as I think this is a great way to conclude this segment here. But let's look at this clip here. And what is it exactly again? Can you please set it up? This is crucial and very important.
They had somebody on the spot there that was, they did a Fox News alert and went to the woman who was interviewing a witness, and he was very different from what they were reporting. And they cut that feed in a hurry and really discounted it.
Okay,
I taped it right off our TV set.
Here it is.
And I turn and look, and they were arresting a guy by the name of George Sim. Yeah, I know the guy. I don't think he did it. I think they arrested the wrong guy. I think whoever did it was a good shooter, a sharpshooter. It was one shot right directly to the heart, and we need to find out who did this. I think there should be a research completely done that took place hours, maybe a day, before anything went on. Who could be there and pull that trigger and do it? And I don't think it was George Sim. He was poor, broke. He maybe was on medication, a little bit loony boon, maybe a perfect person to pick and say that did it, but I don't think he did it at all.
So at this point, but did you see him taken into custody? Did you see him with any kind of thing in his hand, any device in his hand or anything like that?
Yeah, I saw when they actually put the handcuffs behind his back. Okay. I followed them.
All right, we're going to go to Jason Chaffetz. Obviously there's going to be a lot of theories that are floating around. That individual saying that he believes that he knew the person that was taken into custody. He doesn't believe that person did it. Obviously, the investigation is just beginning, and we're a long way. We do know that there is.
Obviously, there's going to be a lot of theories. I mean, truth that we can't control, that's going to go past us. What a, I never liked that sea hag to begin with. Marnie, thank you so much for bringing this to our attention. No matter what
Well,
Martha Quinn said there.
Believe me, Gene, it was a group effort because when this happened, there was probably 5 of us backstage that were on the signal page and just grabbing every bit of information and feeding off each other. So Maddie, Angelina, Seth was in on it. I think Sean popped his head in at one point, but we all jumped on it. And
there you go. There
yeah,
you go.
and as I said, I've got the video of the actual downloaded just in case, because I have heard that they're scrubbing it from the internet.
Oh, of course they are. Of course they are. But we'll keep wind of that. But anyways, Marnie, we have a hard break coming up. Thank you so much for being here. There you have it. Okay. Just another reason to become a member. All you do is go to realdealmedia.tv. Shameless plug, but important because that's where like-minded people are coming together to get this information out. I can't do it myself. I only have 2 arms. I swear to you. Okay, we're going to go to a break, and I'm going to play us out with a few more witnesses. But when we get back here on World at War, we have a very in-depth skeptic is from South Africa, who is going to shed some light, further light on some DEW happenings that stem all the way back to 9/11 and some of the bad faith actors. And I can think of one of them who literally looks like Daphne from that cartoon. What was it? Scooby-Doo, yeah. I'll ask him about that. That's my claim to fame. Yeah, you just want to get her wig and just choke her out and make her say uncle. Yeah, I do too. Anyways, so stand by here. But this is a true tragedy to me of a guy who was being held hostage and a very young man who leaves some young kids behind and a huge following. But here's some further witnesses to make the case. Check this out. Well, that's just how stunning it is and shocking. It's speechless. So I think we share their sentiment. But thank you for that. All right, we're going to break now, and we're going to learn what the hell just happened. Okay, stand by. We'll see you after this message. It just never ends. It does. But joining me for this effort tonight is somebody who is also known as the Big Kahuna. He was in the water early this morning with me, riding the tsunamis. He goes by Johnny Tsunami, but we know him as Jim, the Big Kahuna Fetzer. Jim, welcome. There you are. There you are. Yes. And yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah,
The tsunami seems to have petered out.
And who wore him better, ladies? You tell me, because he's always copying me. What a brain he has there.
I was on a cruise ship and my daughter dared me to enter the men's body competition. I won most athletic legs. I won most athletic legs.
Really?
Yeah.
Jim, out of all the years I've known you, I've never seen your legs before. Now I'm oddly curious.
It was on a cruise ship. It was on a cruise ship. One of those things.
Okay, we are back. You know, I know it's Wednesday, but my God, I have a case of the Mondays, don't I? Don't I? Tonight's show is brought to you by, before we get back to business, is brought to you by Real Deal Go. Wonderful campaign. Thank you to all of those who made and are still making it possible. You know who you are out there. You are the fuel to the engine and the engine to the fuel. But to me, really, you guys are the everything to my bagel, I must say. And speaking of that, I'm a little hungry too. Have you noticed? Okay, all you got to do is go to Real Deal Media. Oh, excuse me. All you got to do is go to givesendgo.com/Real Deal Go. Make a wish, tap your heels twice, and blow a kiss to the air. That's all you got to do. As well as become a visionary debonair, a player from the Himalayas, be iconic, not ironic, and be a night owl. Become a Real Deal Media member, and you can join the acolytes of those who just share the stage with yours truly. Yes, who get the most up-to-date intel, news, sharing, gathering, known to man. All we got to do is go to realdealmedia.tv, and Vito Corleone will be there, so you can kiss the ring and he'll give you a big hug. Yes, he will. And let's also, I should do this more. If you have a thought, if you have an opinion, if you want to get on the show, off the show, or recommend a guest or be a sponsor, well, email us at info@realdealmedia.tv. That's info@realdealmedia.tv. Okay, let's get back to business in the swing of things here. And this is going to be part of our Real Deal International segment, as now we get in the Concorde and we fly all the way to South Africa. And let's get to it, shall we? Well, Real Deal International takes us to one of my favorite places that I've covered in specials. But in this particular place called South Africa, a gentleman has been a skeptic for quite some time. He's very astute, takes notes, he gets his homework done on time, and he was never the kid in class that had to ask you for number 2 pencil to borrow, never give it back. I think you know those guys. Well, he's not one of them. He's a man who was really taking notes and score of the recent 9/11 debate. He wasn't too happy about some of the things, and it was so interesting because this is how we met. In fact, I'll share it with you. I don't think he minds, and nor does the doctor, too. Thank you, doctor. Well, here is our encounter. He said, Dan Ryan had any intellectual humility, he would have me on to counter both these speakers with DEW evidence after all my research is referenced 1 hour, 10 minutes. So, Dean, I gave you an email. Will you have me on? Dean Ryan TV said, intellectual humility, freak you. And then he says, with that said, I could fit you in this coming week. Email me again. We'll make sure we have you appear on the show. Now, initially, I thought it read humidity. And I said, well, it is quite humid, but that was our introduction, 2 guys roughing it out. And that's just the American South African tradition. And he's here tonight. And he's, I like to be beat up a little bit. What can I say? I've got issues. But let's welcome to the stage the 911 revisionist, Mr. Norman, all the way from South Africa. Thanks, Norman, for being here. Oh, okay. I think there you are. You might have muted. You have to unmute yourself as you do that. Okay, there you have it. Well, as he's doing that,
yeah.
Are you ready? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, Norman, thanks for being here, and what a spirited conversation. I thought it was of interest, and looking back.
We got off at a bit of a rocky start, but I think we've got some interesting things to talk about.
Yes, and if you're not getting on any rocky starts in this world, then you're not doing it right, as far as I'm concerned. But we're going to be talking about this here, the case for DEWs, and the time that we have it. And before we do get started, Norman, and I will have you for a longer show, as we discussed earlier. But do you want to weigh in on some of the evidence and angles that we were touching upon in our last segment that could have involved some DEW kind of involvement?
No, definitely. One of the main reasons that you can say that it's DEW is with a bunch of the weird and wonderful anomalies, especially with buildings 3, 4, 5, and 6, and the Bankers Trust. Those are the buildings that hardly ever get mentioned. I refer to them as the 9/11 orphans, because we'll go through a little bit of information on all three of them so that you can see that the narrative that most people push with regards to jet fuel or bombs or thermite or nukes just cannot account for the damage to those buildings, and it was not due to falling debris.
Okay, so just one more time, that's building 7, and what were the other 2 buildings?
No, buildings 3, the Marriott Hotel, a 22-story building. Building
Okay.
4, 5, 6, and then across the way from building 7, right on the other side next to building 6, you had the Bankers Trust, which was initially damaged, fixed, and then taken apart due to lingering after effects in that building.
Norman, I think you're right, because I've never heard of these buildings before, like majority of people. I've never heard of these. And the plaza, right? These were part of the plaza. Was this part of the Larry Silverstein's insurance policy? Those buildings as well?
The whole World Trade Center complex, basically. He got paid out for the Twin Towers. He got paid out for building 7, and then strangely enough, he even went after the airline companies and even got some more money from them as well.
Wow. So, it's no accident, Norman, that here we are almost 25 years later, and we see the involvement of a certain country back then in the most dreadful day is a kind of the same country that's involved in, I believe, what we just witnessed here in America with the assassination of a young man, Charlie Kirk. So let's get into it, because, if I know anything, it's that Israel has always had the most advanced technology, whereas China has always had the advanced intellectual property theft technology, if you will. But let's get into it, shall we? As we now talk about the case for DEWs, as it is surrounding us now with DEWs. Go ahead, Norman.
Even now with Charlie Kirk, everybody is jumping to conclusions rather quickly. I was really amazed just after taking a quick power nap, because we spoke at around about midnight, and it's 4 a.m. now, on how much things are now coming out, and the speculation. It's in a way, it's akin to the Epstein files, where you basically have, when you look at 9/11, actually it's like the Epstein files. Everybody knew something was wrong, and then you've got the files being given to the influencers, and everybody thinks that, that's going to be the information. But meanwhile, right on the other side, you've got somebody standing there with all the tapes, and the Epstein list and everything, and they basically jumping up and down and telling you, look, I've got the information here, but nobody really wants to listen to them. And that's pretty much how the whole 9/11 saga has built over the last 23 years. And if you just take enough time, you'll be able to find all this information. Everything has been documented, and that basically is very, very important for you to look at. And as you know, during your 9/11 debate series, I wrote a reprieve on Richard Gage's presentation, on Jim Fetz's presentation, and then the debate itself. And I was really surprised to see that Fetzer was using some of my information in his debate.
Interesting. Now, we talk about, that's a great example, the bad faith actors that were dangling the Epstein files over there on Capitol Hill earlier in the year. It really didn't even age well. Just even a week later, it was right away. It didn't age well. Now, looking back over the biggest day of the year, the 9/11, well, certainly there were a lot of similar bad actors to my recollection. I remember we had the, Charlie Birch group over there in England. who was all about 9/11 Truth and Turned. We had the lead singer of the Muse do the same, and a lot of actors, Mark Ruffalo. But one in particular, too, that I think this audience might know or should know is someone who came back from the dead. I was just surprised to learn that Norman told me is so. I mean, you thought Jason would never die in all those hell movies? No, this.
Yeah.
I'm still shocked to hear that as someone who goes by the fictitious name of Rebecca Roth, and she made it as Israeli as she could possibly could. I mean, I'm surprised she didn't call herself Rebecca Goldstein. Who is Rebecca Roth? Maybe because is she a list? Is she part of a line of a lot of just infiltrators from the internal services?
Oh no, definitely. Basically, what you've got to look at with any type of truth movement, truth, anything, you've got your government narrative. That's camp one. Camp two is your people who notice that there's something wrong with the official narrative. So, in that camp, you've got a lot of good intentioned truth seekers who look for information, and then they will maybe find an organization and gravitate to them because hopefully they will be the people who will sort out the trouble. And that is also infested with COINTELPRO agents, government spooks, all of that. And that's something that Rebecca Roth definitely is, and she was outed for that. And then that is where you get caught up. Because if you don't go any deeper, you won't ever make it to camp 3. And that is usually where the truth is. And that's what camp 2 is all about, where you've got people like Joe Rogan, Alex Jones, David Icke, all these kind of personalities out there that just don't really give you all the information that you want, because everybody loves the conspiracy-tainment, and that's one of the problems in the truth movement. And you even have that now post-COVID with all the various narratives coming out in this last 5 years. But with 9/11, there's 23 years of documented information. You've just got to spend the hours to work through everything, and then you'll basically see how that pattern evolves, and you can apply that to nearly anything that happens these days that just shapes your perception, because you just immediately just outsource your thinking.
So you have an article, and we mentioned we were going to show bits and pieces of it, and it's perfectly fine and capable to critique Jim and Richard. Not so much me, because I'm quite sensitive these days, as Norman knows. But it's perfectly capable, because they were criticizing Judy Wood, who I don't know. Judy Wood. I actually have Judy Wood's book. It's this thick. It's Where Did the Towers Go? And I would love to talk to Judy Wood. I don't know who knows her, but I do know that the DEW people. Man, they're a stickler bunch of people, and they were like coming after me, and I thought, man, if they don't back off, I'm going to get the flat Earth people to go after them, and then it's going to be a real turf war. It's going to be a real turf war. You better watch out.
Earth is actually pear-shaped, man. It's not flat or round.
See, hey, flat Earth people, here's your first guy you got to go against. I told you, but. I would love to speak to Judy Wood, and hell, even Rebecca Roth, to bring her on there. That'll battle axe. But let me show this here, because you have some critiques, and it's all fine and dandy. Here we go. You have the revisionist. You want to explain some of these things in the limited amount of time we have here, Norman. Go ahead.
So if you can basically just scroll down a little bit, the main thing that a lot of people don't know is everybody in the 9/11 truth movement has been shouting for a new independent investigation to be done. And in 2007, Dr. Morgan Reynolds and Dr. Judy Wood basically, if you can just scroll up a little bit, Dr. Wood and Morgan Reynolds basically filed QTAM whistleblower cases against NIST, because they had U.S. military subcontractors locked down World Trade Center from September 13th, and no camera were allowed, no journalists, no nothing. And thus they could basically control the narrative that was being fed to the MSM. So you've just got to remember COVID, that also basically happened. So what happened is Dr. Wood filed a QTAM case in 2007. Basically, a short while after that, about 3 weeks, the AE 9/11 Truth website basically went up, and nobody basically covered Dr. Morgan Reynolds and Dr. Wood's case. Also, when they filed their request for correction to NIST, that's Architects and Engineers under Richard Gage, never filed anything pertaining to molten metal or thermite in their request for correction. So that is very, very strange. It's the two selling points that they always go on about, and that's also something that Fetzer and Gage mentioned in their presentations pertaining to high heat, which we will get to. Then if you can just go down, we just need to have people understand what actually happened on 9/11. So if you can play that short little 7-minute clip, I'll greatly appreciate it.
I think
And
the
you
first,
can also
honestly, the first
maximize
step
it.
is to just understand the facts, because without the facts, you yourself won't actually know what happened. And I know it's hard. It takes time to read and to watch videos and to look at pictures and graphs and to learn about them. But honestly, if you really care, then that's the first step you got to take, is to know what happened for yourself so that you can help other people to know. Because there's a lot of clout, there's a lot of disinformation, there's a lot of distracting and confusing information. So if you can try and cut through all that and actually just look at the facts and go to the sources, don't just look at Dr. Wood's website, even though it is extremely well referenced and very, very credible. Take it even further. Go to the sources that are provided and actually go to the USGS.gov website and the Columbia University Seismographic Institute, Seismology Institute's website, and actually look at that seismographic data raw from their website. And that's really what helped it sink in for me. And it is so overwhelmingly conclusive, this body of evidence, that it is not a theory and it's not a hypothesis. And it's very troubling to see so many people still referring to it as such, because it's an incorrect statement. And I just wanted to share something really quick to kind of close from my end to help articulate why that is, because a lot of people don't have the scientific understanding to know when something is not a theory anymore or not a hypothesis anymore, for example. So just wanted to share that theory, speculation, and belief are not necessary to understand that directed energy was used on 9/11. Rather, only detailed study of the empirical evidence from 9/11 is necessary. Situations like this are rare in science, I'll admit, when there's so much empirical evidence that one can actually bypass the process of theorizing and speculating to instead draw an irrefutable conclusion from that evidence. And this is actually a major difference between Dr. Wood and other researchers, is that she did not lead with a...
Norman, due to time constraints, maybe you could help. We could further it along there. That was just a tidbit of a DEW example of what took down the towers. We're going to do a longer piece shortly in the next few weeks or less than that with Norman on that. But can you maybe help conclude kind of what that video is trying to surmise there for us?
No, definitely. Basically, what that video comes down to, it gives you an example of describing a dog. So there's various evidence pieces that somebody can share with you, and if you don't have the full information, then you won't necessarily know what you are looking at. And that's basically what Dr. Wood did. She looked at a whole bunch of anomalies which could not be explained by a thermal or kinetic mechanism, and that's basically what it comes down to. So we can go down the rest of that article, and then we can talk about the 16 survivors in Stairwell B that most people don't know about. So
okay, and just real quick too, and maybe you can to help me understand regarding the hurricane that took place on that day. And this is something I didn't really understand or hear about till much later, probably just, within the past 5 to 8 years about a hurricane. Is that something you might be able to touch upon real quick?
Yes, that's basically Hurricane Erin. It was 500 miles off the east coast of New York. It was making a beeline for New York City, and it was massively underreported. And there was even thunderstorm, like coal, or whatever they call it, static field in the air, and you had thunder at 3 of the airports outside New York City. So it proves to you that there was some sort of static field present, and there was also a major static storm on September 10th. And people tend to relate that back to the Hutchinson effect, where he used Tesla coils, created a static field, and he could create weird and wonderful things happening to steel. And that's Tesla technology, which he managed to do in the 1920s and 30s. And you've got to go into RF weaponry that uses intersecting scalar waves that can create some sort of key into transmutation of metals. And that's pretty much what happened on 9/11, because there's a lot of similarities once you research the Hutchinson effect.
Norman, if you could, due to time constraints, once again, I do apologize. If you could tell us about the survivors of that, and also, kind of in a concluding way, rather, what is it that you're hoping to accomplish? And then, like I said, at a later date, we'll have a wider and vast discussion of the DEWs, which I think is very important because, like many people, Norman, I think that there was a combination of thermite and little explosives, and also DEWs, or at least an attempted effort to use DEWs that day. And the very, very old, low-tech 2001, if you can believe it. But go ahead, I'm going to give you the floor in a concluding manner. Norman.
Okay, so basically with regards to the survivors, they were between floors 2 and 22, and they didn't suffer any hearing loss, or they didn't go blind from bright flashes going off. They didn't die from radiation poisoning. Pascal Bouchelli, the 9/11 surfer, you can find information on him on YouTube. Just search 9/11 surfer. He was on the 22nd floor when the building was starting to rumble and shake, and he fell around about 17 floors, only suffered a broken ankle, and 90 floors above him, a 500,000-ton building just disappeared above him. When he came to after the dust settled and he looked up, he saw blue skies above him. The same with the 14 the first responders in stairwell B between floors 2 and 6. They also didn't suffer any burns from molten metal raining down upon them. They weren't buried under 13.5 stories of rubble, as you would expect for the average 12.5% for controlled demolition. So they weren't blasted to bits. They weren't vaporized by any nukes or anything like that. And something like that for people is very difficult to comprehend. Even the statement where they say that the building was blasted to bits and everything was ejected 600 feet laterally. In that article, if you scroll down, you will see that the Liberty Plaza sphere that was 27 feet high wasn't buried under any rubble whatsoever. And that is not, you can't do that with any thermal or kinetic mechanism. And and people don't know about these survivors. So I would suggest also go and watch the 2006 documentary, The Miracle in Stairwell B, where they interview all these various firefighters that survived the disintegration.
Norman, we're going to have to cut it short. I'm literally, my entire system is about to fail. But in closing, thank you for being here. And if there's any just kind of message or objective, rather, that you want to share with this incredible, effective audience in your final thought here,
I would suggest just people go to my Substack, 9/11 Revision. Read a little bit of the articles there. I've got a huge interview with Professor David A. Hughes. He's written a a great book, The Omnivore, on COVID and the march to technocracy. And he's also looked into 9/11. He himself, if initially believed all the mainstream narrative from the government. He's gone through the thermite, the bomb theories, and then also the nuke theories, and he's given his feedback on Dr. Wood's book as well. And just go listen to one of Dr. Wood's presentations. I know everybody's been told not to look at it because it's just crazy and kooky or whatever, but if you don't apply yourself and challenge the beliefs that you hold, you'll never get to the truth. And this is being kept from good intentioned truth seekers. There's a bigger indication on this, where the technology in play that day is something that can free us from this false scarcity world that we live in.
Well, thank you for sharing this, Norman. I really appreciate it. And, I'm sorry that we got off to a wonderfully rocky start, but, when you grow up on wrestling like I did, that's just what we do. You're a stand-up guy. So
I was very surprised to hear that you were one of the people who also helped expose Rebecca Roth. So I hope that we can go through this a little bit more in depth, because there's a lot of people that need to be exposed for the limited hangouts that they are, and possible agents that infiltrated the 9/11 truth movement.
Exactly. I think so too. But in fact, stick around backstage. I'm going to say goodbye to you after the show here, if you could. Okay. Thank you very much. 911 Revisionist. There you have it. We're going to end it there on that note, as today has just been a whirlwind of endless darkness, clouds, DEWs, even at its, worst case, as we made the connection there. But as before my system completely fries here, as the DEW is probably being used on me right now, and I'm just so used to it, I can't even tell the difference. So I'm going to end it there. And here's my final thought is, on a day where we have lost a major young influencer and really great mind of sorts. I mean, it takes a lot of talent and a lot of knowledge to create a movement, to create a organization like Charlie Kirk has with Turning Point USA, despite its faults, despite its hidden hands from people we're not that are not very friendly to us. They are the foreign adversaries within this country. And if the conservative people, if the evangelical people who are fueling this incredible monstrosity that's been placed upon the American journalist in this country, from Jamie White now to Charlie Kirk, activists in this case, and journalists as well, then we're not going to see the forest through the trees. We're not going to find the DEWs that we're learning about. We're going to continue to follow Plato's cave and its theory of it's just another political hit job. Oh, well, what are you going to do? And I'm sorry, that's not a narrative that's good enough for Charlie Kirk, who was a hostage of sorts and always has been to me. It's not good enough for his family. It's not good enough for his supporters, followers, and people all alike, even his critics. It's certainly not good enough for me. And I'm not going to go along to play along. And I'm certainly not going to follow Winston Churchill in his saying of grin and bear it, because we were meant for so much more. Because at the end of the day, if freedom is the answer, then what the hell is the question? So on that point, we're going to end it there. I want to thank Rebel Mama for sharing the stage and these wonderful intel droppings to us. Thank you, as well as Norman 911 Revisionist. Check him out, and we're going to bring him back for a longer discussion. Just that's how breaking news goes. It just puts a little twist and turn into everything. So we'll bring him back for a longer one. I will be back tomorrow night. I'm feeling slightly better and bit more focused and just a tad more angrier in sorts. So for all of us here at Real Deal Media and the #1 show at this type of night, the late night, World at War. I'm Dean Ryan saying thank you for sharing a bit of your night. I hope to survive this with you as long as I can, as long as you'll have me. In the meanwhile, always remember to stay tuned and stay awake, because honestly, tomorrow is never promised. Good night, everybody.